All right, everybody. Hope all is well. Killing Cash here. And I want to give you some game because, as a CFSW, that's a certified financial social work advisor coach, I want to really talk about finances real quick on Diversified Game because I'm hearing people say they don't trust the market. I'm hearing people say they have no plans on retirement. And sometimes life is going to retire you. So on my other channel, Killing Cash, I talk more about that kind of life advice, but I said, let me give something over here as well and share the game just in case you don't see me on those other platforms that I have. So let's get right into it. And I want to just give you the game because you want the truth, you want heat, you want the math, so you can have a vision. And I want you to be able to have that vision. Now, a lot of people are asking, can you retire on $1 million in about 30 years or so? Are we lying to ourselves about that? Because some people say, yeah, I can live off $1 million. Right now, a lot of you say, if I had $1 million, I know what I would do. Tiro la puerta, I'm out. A lot of people would say, if I only had $1 million, but you can't get $1 million. Books like Dave Ramsey have shown how even teachers who we don't pay enough, I always say that, how they retire and they actually are the best savers. But you got to have a plan. And a lot of times your families don't have a plan because $1 million sounds rich, but guess what? When you're going into retirement, it's not rich anymore. Those days might be over. I would say, yeah, they are. So is it comfortable at best? And depending on how you live, it might just be survival money at this point, depending on what city or state you live in. So this is not like, I don't want you to be worried, but I want you to get ready and because you can do it no matter what you are. Let's not make an emotional thing. Let's get a plan because 30 years from now, inflation will not care about your feelings. Historically, inflation averages about 3% a year. That means in 30 years, $1 million will have the buying power of roughly maybe 400 to 500,000 in today's money. So when you say, I'm going to retire with $1 million, what you're really saying is, I want to retire middle class in today's dollars. And I know, again, most of you might say, ooh, 500, 400,000. I wish I had that. But we got to have some real talk. And let's talk about the income. If you retire with 1 million and follow the traditional 4% withdrawal rule, that gives you about $40,000 a year before taxes. 40,000. Now, some people, depending where you are in life, you might be saying, hey, 40,000, that's not bad. Okay. But in 2056, 30 years from now, that might feel like making 20 something thousand, depending on inflation. And again, we don't know universal basic income and all those things. I do other videos about those. If you want to see more, let me know. We don't know. So the question is not, can you retire on $1 million? The question really is, how do you want to live? Think about that. Do you want to travel? We see everybody going to Thailand and Cambodia and Vietnam right now. And Thailand has made it a little more expensive. But do you want to travel? Do you want quality health care? Do you want to help your kids? Because kids sometimes need help, even as adults. Do you want to invest in your church? Do you want to pour money into your community? Or do you just want to exist quietly, hoping and praying nothing breaks? Because one medical emergency can eat that $1 million alive. My elder George Dubak says, 150,000 a year for medical. Just bank on that. And let me shift the tone because you might say, man, I ain't trying to hear that, but you want to hear it before it hears you, especially for the black families out there in America. The black folk, $1 million is still a generational breakthrough. Let's not dismiss that, but the median net worth for black households in America is a fraction of that number. So yes, hitting $1 million would be powerful. Yes, it would. But power without structure It disappears quickly. You know, lotto winners, athletes, content creators, even medical doctors, not the best savers. And a lot of them do not end the way they thought they were going to end, and some end broke. So most people think retirement is about savings. It is not. It is not. It is not. It is not. Retirement is about your cash flow. What do you have after you work so hard in life, so consistently in life? And let's say that again. Retirement is about cash flow. What do you have? Nobody's giving you anything. If that million is sitting in a retirement account and you have no rental properties, no business equity, no dividend machine, no ownership in something that grows, then you are slowly liquidating your life. And a lot of people end up in that category and they're like, what happened? I had a plan, and excuse my Ozbot for having a mind of its own. Okay, bear with me real quick while I get her right and ready. Go back to normal tracking, Miss Ozbot. Thank you very much. And yeah, okay, I'll take tracking off, and that might fix that. So bear with me. That's what happens when you do stuff live. And so the hard truth about all this is if you live in California, New York, parts of Florida, I'm in Palm Beach County, the Atlanta metro, the Chicago suburbs, Houston, in 30 years, $40,000 a year will not feel like retirement. It will be restricted. Very. It will feel like restriction. I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't eat out like I am now. Can't go to Starbucks like I want to. I don't drink coffee like that. But property taxes will go up as well. Insurance goes up. Healthcare could explode. Energy costs can fluctuate. And food is not going to get any cheaper long term if we're going to eat the real healthy stuff, especially, you can get the junk for cheap. But so your options are: one, get serious about your money. Increase the target. Stop aiming for $1 million like that is the finish line. Aim for like 3 to 5 million in assets that produce income. And don't just think, I'm going to sell my business and my business will always be here, because you might not be able to work in your business. You might not be able to work, period. Who knows? You might not be able to move like you think you can move. Option 2 is build ownership and not just savings. You need income streams that do not clock in and out. Real estate, great. Digital assets, equity in companies, licensing deals, royalties. This is why we write the books we write and do what we do. Franchises, media platforms you own. You can do all of that. Okay? Even if you are stuck in the bed, bedridden, God forbid. In Jesus Christ's name. Your option 3 is you could reduce your burn rate. If you need 120,000 a year to live now, that means you need 3 million using a 4% rule. Math does not care about motivational speeches. What did Jay-Z say? The numbers don't lie. You guys love to quote that stuff, but you're not living it always. Now, let's address the overseas question, because, I'm Mr. International, 27 plus countries and going. But for some people, is moving overseas something many of you even want to do, especially you Americans, especially you Black Americans, may have to consider. But for me, the answer is yes. But I still want to say, if I want to be in America, I can live the same fat fire life that I want. So the long answer on all of that, it just depends on your preparation. There are countries where $40,000 a year feels like $120,000 here. Parts of Africa, Latin America, Southeast Asia. But this is the truth that a lot of people will tell you: do not romanticize that. Healthcare quality will vary too. The political stability that nobody can guess will vary. The currency risk exists. You must understand tax law. You must understand residency law when you go overseas. You must understand property ownership restrictions, like y'all in Ghana who thought you're going to get land and find out it's leasehold, not freehold. And if you don't know the definition of that, Google it. And most importantly, you're going to have to build a community there. And you might have to have one here too, to ship certain things and money, and they might not want to send your social security if that's even a thing, right? So retirement overseas is not going to be an escape for everybody, especially if you're not working with us right now to plan that. It is a strategy that I love to do. Now, if you can geo arbitrage yourself, and meaning you earn in dollars and spend in lower cost economies, your million will stretch further. But
You've tried it your way, but you're still in debt. Or maybe you're doing okay, but want to invest smarter, grow faster. MillionaireX.ai gives you real step-by-step strategies to ditch debt or stack wealth. Stop dreaming and start planning. Visit MillionaireX.ai today. I want you to be the next millionaire next door.
there are warnings to all of these things, caveats. Because if you are running from poor planning now, especially, you will find poor planning overseas too later. And I'll tell you, and let me talk to my black folks specifically, because a lot of times we like to say, woe is me. And for us, retirement is going to be different. Retirement is going to be when you say, oh, I'm free to do whatever I want. And everybody, it will feel like this. But I just want to speak on black folk. We often retire with responsibility. We have to still take care of aging parents. Mine are past, adult children, grandkids, community obligations, and church expectations. And I say that like my biologicals are past, but I still have father who is alive who raised me. I still have aunts who helped me out where I couldn't see them suffering, and so they'd have to be inside my casa or something I set up to the best of my ability. They might have to come to Africa with me, right? So you have to think about these things, your church expectations and what you're going to do again for your community. So your million might not just be feeding you. I see a lot of people taking care of grandkids. It might be feeding 5 people, which means you better not just retire. You better multiply, as the scriptures say, and leave something for your children, 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 if you want to be great. And this is where the mindset, it has to shift. Check out the VTSAX. Google that and chill. Retirement should not mean stopping work completely. It should mean shifting to ownership. Instead of asking, can I retire on $1 million? I'd ask, how do I build assets that pay me $100,000 a year without touching my principal? Which some of y'all might win the lottery, and y'all could do that now. Some of y'all have won the lottery in various ways, and you can do it now. But that changes everything. You want dividend portfolios generating like 50 to 100,000 annually. You want rental units paid off, cash flow. You could even write it where your tenants can make the improvements. Bad deal that I would think, but some people fall for that every time. You want a small advisory or consulting practice that brings in 5 to 10,000 a month part-time. You want equity stakes in businesses. You do not want to depend on Social Security as your primary source of income and strategy. If you're waiting and doing that, I feel for you, and you need to call and book a session right now, paid session, because you don't have a plan, and you need a plan, and we need some prayer as well. We need to bring some of that spiritual grounding where we are called to be stewards. Money is not the goal. Don't get it twisted, y'all. Money isn't the goal. Freedom is the goal. That's what we want. That's what the American dream is all about. The free to speak how you want to speak. And freedom requires margin. And the scriptures tell you money answers all things. Also tells you don't be in love with it. But your margin in your finances, your margin in your health, your margin in your time, if your retirement math leaves no margin, you are not free. Think about that. Think about it. You're in a fragile state of mind, and you need to get serious. You need to start adulting and get real about life. So can you retire on 1 million in 30 years is the question. The answer is, drum roll, boom, yes, if you live modestly, if you are debt free, your home is paid off. Oh man, give that Dave Ramsey debt free sound. You are healthy. You live in a low cost area or overseas. Maybe you want to live in Mississippi. Maybe you want to live in Kansas in the rural parts, but maybe you don't. and maybe you have some additional income streams, you know. But no, the answer is drum roll, boop, boop, even though I already said it. No, if you want luxury, you want to support extended family heavily, and you face major healthcare costs and live long enough, you know, something may happen.
Ready to dominate your industry with strategy that actually scales? At Coleman Public Relations and Consulting Firm, we're not just PR experts, we're licensed sports agents certified in AI and elite business consultants with over 2 decades of experience leading global projects across multiple countries. Visit cprfirm.com, that's colemanprfirm.com, and millionairex.ai. Then download the Millionaire X app, your AI powered guide to getting out of debt, investing smarter, and building generational wealth. Coleman Public Relations and Consulting Firm. It's a family business, it's different.
You remain in high cost cities, New York City, California. You rely only on withdrawals and nothing else. The real issue isn't the number. Do you get that? Like, if you get that, like, put a 1 or something, you know, in the comments, or say, I get it in the comments. But it is the system. What you're building. Build a system. Build a system that produces income and it protects against inflation, diversifies across assets, and allows geographic flexibility. Maybe you got to live here 6 months, here 6 months, here 6 months, there 6 months. That's what I'd like to do. And maybe even 3 months here, 3 months there. And you also got to remember this, especially if you're an American, it needs to minimize your taxes legally. Because everywhere you go in this world, you're going to have to pay tax up to, I think it's 90 or 120. And let me end with this, y'all, because I don't want to scare you, but I want to prepare you. If you are under 50 right now and your goal is 1 million in 30 years, you're thinking small. You're thinking too small. Too small. You need to think ownership. You need to think international.
Hello, everyone. Join us on an exciting journey with Explore the World Cameroon. London and Sydney go take you explore Cameroon, the heart of Africa. Experience the vibrant culture, nature, and traditions from Yaoundé market to rainforest adventures. Every page na new discovery. Join the Cameroonian food, music, and wildlife with our explorers. This book na true celebration of Cameroon spirit. Get your copy now. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and through your library and bookstores here in Grams Park. Don't miss this adventure.
You need to think digital assets. And you guys holler at me in the comments, in the DMs, and the emails if you want me to go deeper on something, if something would, didn't make sense. But you need to think businesses that run without you. Yada. Come on, my Bay Area fuck, yada. Because the world is changing. AI will eliminate jobs, but it also creates some jobs. And are you getting some new skills? Healthcare costs will rise, and governments will shift policies. Global opportunities will expand. I know they are for me with the things that we're doing. So the question is not, will 1 million be enough? Nope. You get it. Now you get it. The question is, will you be disciplined enough to build beyond it? Because you could live, very sober life, meek life. But retirement is not about stopping. I think that's where people even get the FIRE movement mixed up with, and there's different versions of the FIRE movement. Financially independent, retire early. But it's about arriving with power. And if you're serious, you do the math today to calculate your desired lifestyle. And if you multiply it by 25, that is your number. Then build like your freedom depends on it. Man, like you can't breathe, like Eric Thomas says. Yeah, do it like that, because it does. And I hope that you guys know I'm not trying to beat up on anyone, and none of us are where we want to be. We're working on it daily. But you got to ask yourself, because this is your challenge. Are you building a retirement account? Are you building a retirement system? There's a difference. Do you even believe in retirement or think about it or plan for it? If you're over 30, you need to. If you're in your 20s, you can, and you will win if you just put a little aside, $100 a month, something. And you got to choose wisely, just like your mates who you decide to, hang around or lay up in the bed with, your spouses, your cars. You got to think wisely and stop getting into this shallow, I saw it on TV, so I got to have it. Oh, so-and-so said they like this, so I got to get it. Whether it's BBLs, abs, cars, stars, whatever, QSRs, and all that. But you guys, I do this for a living of strategy, consulting. I am a sports agent in the state of Florida, licensed. Got a few licenses and different things, and education always going and growing, and working on even a second master's degree, MSW. And I want to give you guys the best game. And I'm seeing that we are in a crisis, not to make people fearful, but people are not saving, and people are then depending on those who did, what they were supposed to do to bail them out. And that's not the way that it should ever be if you were irresponsible. Now, if you just need a little hand up and you were working hard, and, our teachers are law enforcement, not y'all ICE, y'all just greedy and doing, y'all are something else. But, for the folks who are really, firefighters, all that, who are really trying to make a difference, the people you'd like to see, the politricians. But you guys have got the game. Again, we're going to VTSAX and chill over here. You guys want to go build businesses, go overseas, all type of different stuff. I've helped 4 people find their mates, find their mates in life. So you want to do any of that? Come on, hit the links in the description. I'm so easy to find. Just know that this is not a free service. We work with everybody that, is serious about their budget. But you got to invest in yourself. You got to sow a seed before you show a need. I always tell people that. You guys, do me a favor. You can comment if you like. Like will help with the algorithm, however you experience this, whether it's on video or audio or whatever else that comes out when they do the Neuralink to Neuralink, But if you could also tell your AI to, follow this channel, share it with people, and you share it with people, because this is the game that will change people's lives. Y'all be blessed. All right.
Hi everyone. Have you ever been curious about visiting Africa? Which African country were you interested in? Kenya, Nigeria, Uganda, South Africa, Ethiopia? Which country are you interested in? My good friend, Kellen Cash Coleman, came up with a course called My First Trip to Africa that'll guide you through this process. It's only $20, and in this course you'll learn about passports, visas, vaccinations that you need before you go there, as well as a budget, how much the trip is going to cost. He also talks about what you should pack, what you should take with you, how you should travel on a budget. Did you know that $100 is worth 1,000 South African rand and over 10,000 Kenyan shillings? So imagine what you can do with $100 back home. I say back home because I'm from Sudan, I'm African, I already know how it's like. I know that, when you convert Canadian and American money, it goes a long way when you're traveling across Africa. So if you're curious, if Africa is a place that you've always wanted to go, always wanted to move there, Kellen Cash is the person to ask. Check out the course. There's a little preview you can listen to before you actually purchase it. If you're interested in this course, visit www.diversifiedgame.com. Don't miss out.
Are you tired of the violence, tired of the injustice, police brutality, rampant discrimination, lack of gun control in this failed biased socioeconomic experiment called America? Or maybe you need a break from the relentless grind and want to regain control of your destiny, your wealth, your health, and your purpose. DiversifiedGame.com has the right course for you. Prepare for my first trip to Africa. Looking to reconnect with your roots, start a new business, or just a fresh start. Africa, aka the motherland, is waiting. Don't let the Chinese and the Mzungus have the fun and also take over the motherland. From Cairo to Mombasa, from Dakar to Cape Town, Africa has something for everyone, from business opportunities to the most amazing people, safety, leisure, and landscapes. The opportunities abound. It is time for the diaspora to reconnect with their roots. Time to reconnect with the birthplace of humanity. Africa is the last frontier. Get your head in the game and reclaim your legacy. The writing is on the wall. Babylon is falling. Give up the stress, grind, and violence inflicted on our people on this continent and prepare for a journey of restoration and joy by connecting with the land of your ancestors. Check out our new course and kick off your adventure at DiversifiedGame.com.